There's a lot of work that goes into a surfboard.
How often do you make your surfboards?
We don't talk about that.
We don't? Oh.
No, I'm joking. I make a lot of boards for myself. If you're a chef, cook yourself some nice meals, right? You're done.
It's time to go in the pool.
Okay.
Hey, what's happening? I'm Surf Junkie Jeff here in Newport Beach, California. All kinds of surfboards exist out there to suit each surfer's style, and no two custom sticks are exactly the same. The surf industry would not exist without surfboard shapers, those craftsmen who design and build the boards. On this episode, we'll feature former pro surfer Cordell Miller, who has shaped boards for legends of the sport, including three-time world champion Tom Curren. Welcome to Shaped in America.
The art of making a board is being able to make it work in crappy waves and make it work in good waves. You know what? The defining moment was I had my first real girlfriend, my first real love, and I got shattered. I was heartbroken. And I was like, I needed something to do to get my mind off her, you know, really. And I was 17 or 18, and it was like I shaped a board. And ever since then, it was like I had a job, you know. That was the very beginning factor of me learning to shape. When I was a kid, what I wanted to be when I grew up was either a pro baseball player or a pro surfer. I turned pro when I was 17 years old, and during the process I was shaping boards too, so it was kind of like I kind of fell back on my business of shaping boards, so I didn't really have to be a pro surfer. You know, being a surfer, when you fall in love with surfing, you just want to surf, you know, you just want to travel and get waves. The first board I ever shaped, you know, I did it by hand, and it was just rough and ugly, and you know, I ended up buckling it. Being able to see your friends do things and have fun and progress and love the boards, I mean, that's really the joy of the job. I had quite a few mentors, I think, you know, guys like Mike Estrada was one of them. Mark McConnell helped me in the beginning, and Ben Ipa, and Bill Stembridge, and Greg Pouch, and guys that, you know, have worked hard to, you know, make me boards, and as well as make lots of boards for lots of guys. There's a lot of amazing shapers out there and artists that you've never heard of, but they've, you know, spent a lot of time doing their art. Shapers are artists, you know, I guess, you know. I totally do consider myself an artist because it's not really like a real job. What inspires me as a shaper and a surfer is looking at surfboards and seeing the actual shape of them, and then riding them and knowing, okay, well, these, you know, this curve and these outlines and these fins and all these different variables to the board all ride and perform a certain way. So you're always kind of on the search of, like, my thing was always looking for the perfect rocker. Over the years now, with computers and technology, boards are getting more consistent, but you'll get 30, 40, 50, 60 boards a year and only have one or two magic boards that you love out of them. So there is really an art to getting the boards to work exactly how you want them to, consistently. So the computer has actually been, I think, a good thing in shaping, because it's allowed board makers like myself and other people to get more consistent. Like, you can design one shoe, a size 7 for you, right? But you can put that on a machine, and that machine will make a size 1 or a size 17 with the same design and specs. Basically, you have to create the first model, and then it can scan it, and then it can duplicate it in different sizes, up or down. This model, for instance, this is a Fig Newton, and basically it's kind of like the same in the nose and tail almost, kind of a double ender, but the tail's just a touch wider than the nose. But a lot of guys are going shorter and wider, and basically this is done on the machine. The cool thing is you can have a bunch of different models that you sell that are very similar. They're just certain little variances that make the boards different. Typical work day for me really is kind of know what the surf is doing. And if the surf is good, then we try to get in the water quick. If the surf is bad, then you make sure work's getting done. I'm a perfectionist with the art because you kind of have to be. There's a lot of work that goes into a surfboard. That's why they're not cheap. It's taxing. It's hard work, and it's chemically not probably the best for you. So it's not a clean job. It's not like mowing the lawn. The surf had gotten so bad here for a few years that I started hitting golf balls, and I got hooked. I never thought I'd get hooked because golf to me is just so boring. Are you kidding me? So boring. Everything about it's still boring, except I love hitting golf balls, and golf courses are beautiful, and being out in nature, it's beautiful, and being challenged with golf. I love golf. I just think it's the whole dress code and just etiquette thing. It's not as fun as surfing, are you kidding me? But when the surf is bad, the golf sure beats work, right? So, or other things, I mentioned the rocker being what makes my boards a little different. I've always had a very open mind to rocker. I've always actually used a lot of rocker, because Newport is actually a pretty fast, steep wave, and you can get away with a lot of rocker. So my boards, when you put more rocker in a board, it allows the board to work better when the wave's steeper. When the wave is slow, it doesn't go as fast. So you have to kind of really put it in the right place of the wave and keep it in the pocket of the wave to get it to work. So, that's what makes my boards a little bit more different, is that I do put more rocker in them. The best part of my job is being able to be at the ocean and in the water and with your friends and doing something that you love. I mean, if everybody shaped, I don't know what we would eat because we'd have to live off the land, but it would be a better, happier world.
We're here inside Cordell Miller Shaping Bay, which is smaller, dirtier, and more claustrophobic than a college dorm room. Seriously, Cordell, what draws you to this place?
This is where I live, man. This is where I have lived for the last 22 years, making surfboards for people. So it's a lot of fun, and it is dirty and dusty.
So a customer walks in here, wants to get a custom surfboard. What do you typically ask that person?
They probably have an idea of what they want, whether it's a fish or a fun board or a short board or a high-performance shortboard or a longboard, So most people come in here knowing what they want, even if they're a beginner.
Now, how about if you have a guy who walks in and you know him personally and you know how he surfs? Is that a big helpful?
Yeah, I mean, because most of us ride real similar shapes, so kind of based on their size and their height and their weight, what dimensions they're going to be ballparking around.
So tell me, what do we have right here, this blank right here? What is this?
This is a Clark Foam 59R, which is basically extinct. Clark Foam doesn't exist anymore. This is probably one of the smallest blanks ever made. It's so little, it's so thin, and I'm going to make it for my daughter, which I'm excited. She's 3 now, almost 3.5, and I haven't made her a board yet, but she's loves surfing as much as anyone, and I'm excited. This is a blank raw form, so I'm going to have to hand shape it. I'm going to have to template it. I'm going to cut it out with a saw, and I'm going to use the planer. And then I'm going to, at that point, it'll get to be where the computer boards are done, because the computer boards are just, the thickness flow is done, the outline is done, and the concave is in the bottom. It's basically 85% done. They have these machines, and they basically make my job and my life a lot easier.
So Cordell, you have a stock blank here. What's the first step?
Well, the first step is some guys, they skin the blank first. I actually like to template the blank first, and then I skin it second. So I got my pencil, I got my tape measure. I'm going to go ahead and measure this out to the specs that I think should be good for my daughter. And so I'll do that.
Now you said this board's for your daughter.
Yeah. She's 3.5. It's her first board.
Wow.
And she's getting Clark Foam, which is pretty cool.
How's that, a custom board from Daddy?
Yeah, I'm stoked. And this blank is 5'9", and she's about, what, 3 feet tall? I'm gonna make her kind of like a little bit like a shortboard hybrid kind of, I think just 5'4". So what I'm doing here is I'm measuring the length of the board, okay? So I started up there about 2.5 inches back. It's gonna be 5 feet 4 inches, so I put a mark, okay? And everybody measures their tails at 12 inches up from the tail. The actual tip is 12 inches. So here I have 5'4", 64. I go up 12 inches, which is a foot. Bang, right there I put another mark. And that's where I'm gonna measure the width of the tail. Then I go to the center of the blank, because every board is measured in the middle. 5'4", 64 inches, I'm going to go 32 inches.
So you have to be a mathematician to be a shaper?
No, but it is number. You can break the surfboard down into numbers, right? Laws of physics, right? Or whatever. I don't know if that's laws of physics or just math. I guess it's all connected somehow, right? So now I have the nose, the tail 12 inches up, and the 12 inches up, and the center. Okay. So now I use this little plumbing tool, which is really cool because it's a center finder rule. And I measure. Yeah, it's like plumbers use it. Bang. So for your faucets, they go, okay, this one's going to be 4 inches over and 4 inches over. So it just measures out from the center. This blank is pretty narrow. It's a small board, which is not a lot of volume. It's about 19.5 inches wide, the blank. See, this center finding ruler is only maxed out at 18.5, which is pretty narrow. But I'm going to make her board 18, just over 18. So I'm going to go a little bit over 9, a little bit over 9. See that? Now, and I have my dots.
The dimensions you're coming up with for your daughter right now, how do you figure this out?
Well, she's little. She's never surfed before. She's never even really swam that much. So this is going to be for her in the pool, at the house, stepping on it.
In the pool?
Yeah, to learn, learn to float, and I'll teach her to duck dive, and then eventually we'll hit her in the water, Okay, so I'm marking it 14, just under 14.5 in the tail, just about 12 inches in the nose, and 18.5 in the middle. Which is going to be kind of short and stubby for her. Not every day do you make a board for a 3.5-year-old. My partner, Paul, who now is helping me sell stuff online and in the shop, he's like, let's make a Grom model. Nobody has a Grom model. Okay. And so this is will be like the major Grom model. This is a template actually based off one of my 6'2" boards. This is called a spin template. So this is the tail, as you can see. Right. And then this is the nose. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the nose. A lot of guys start, it doesn't really matter, I guess, as long as you're piecing it together, but I'm making a 5'4" out of a bigger template, so it's going to take a little bit of creativity.
What do you typically ride yourself?
I ride 6'2" by about 18 3/4 inches wide. Okay. And that's what I've been riding for a long time and hopefully forever.
How often do you make yourself boards?
We don't talk about that.
We don't? Oh.
No, I'm joking. I make a lot of boards for myself. If you're a chef, cook yourself some nice meals, right?
There you go.
So yeah, it's basically, it's a short board, Yeah. The nose is already drawn out from the center forward, and then I'll do the tail, and then I'll cut it out, and Happy Jack will be happy. So it's funny because this template's totally working. Sometimes when you're trying to make a board way different length from a template, you have troubles. As you get older, though, you learn how to piece things together easily. So now I just cut the tail off. Cut the nose and get the rail going here. Make sure I don't cut the rack. I'll wait. And this is something this is kind of an art though that not everybody, to be able to cut that line and have it not be flat, bumpy or whatever. We're good.
It's actually looking like a surfboard now.
Yeah. So basically I have, it's got the outline. I just got to clean up the lines a little bit. I really like the way the rocker and the lines look.
Explain the Cordell, when you say rocker, explain what that is.
Okay, well the rocker of the board is basically the entry, blending into the tail rocker, The tail rocker is what makes the board loose and turn from the tail, and the entry really keeps the board from purling,
When you say purling?
Like basically when you drop in on a wave, if this doesn't have rocker, you're just gonna purl, submerge, like a boat. That's why boats have rocker, Boards, every board has a little different bend to it. Well, when you hand shape a board like this, it takes about an hour. Okay. Maybe 2 if you're real meticulous, you want to take your time and just nitpick. Okay. Hand shape, fine sanding this from the computer is gonna take 20 minutes.
And you're done.
And I'm done, 45 at the most. So it cuts it in more than a half. Okay. It's a lot easier to do it off the computer, and that's why I do the computer.
Right. Now what's this tool you're using right here?
This is just a sanding block with some 40 grit sandpaper. so I can kind of clean up the wall, the outline. It's kind of like being in kindergarten. They say, you know what, don't go outside the lines. And you can crayon and you have the little characters. This is basically you don't go inside the line, you know? If I go inside the line, the template starts fading. I drew this up pretty much perfectly. So the rest is up to me to stay on that line.
Right.
My daughter, I nickname her Happy Jack.
Right.
So, you know, we always have to kind of come up with names for the models because it's just something.
Do you have a potential name for this thing?
I'm going to call it the Happy Jack.
That's it.
So this is like the Happy Jack model, you know, which is kind of going to be like more of, you can say it's the Grom board, but in reality, it's full. It looks good. People are going to like it. Because of the cameras and the dust and the noise, I'm going to go ahead and put this down, Happy Jack. We'll put it away for now until I hand shape it. Leave that there for now, and I'm going to grab my friend's board here from the computer, which is, you guys haven't seen yet a done board on the computer.
When you say computer versus that one, that was just a full-on stock blank. Explain the computer blank.
Well, the beauty of the computer is the computer is able, what you do is you hand shape a board.
Right.
You get it nice, you take it to the computer, they scan it on a machine that digitizes the exact shape from one side.
Okay.
Okay? They do one side, and then they mirror that to the other side.
Ah, okay.
It's pretty cool. So actually, if you don't make it completely perfectly even,
Right.
it'll be as even as one side is.
I see little lines in the blank. Now, what is that?
The lines are the computer cutting head. It's a CNC machine, and it
Okay.
goes back and forth, all the way.
So those you'll take
both
out?
sides. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna.
Okay.
I already templated the tail.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take the Sureform and I'm gonna template that, and then I'm gonna use my tools and fine sand it down and make it to where Randy can glass it and he'll be in the water in no time. Well, over the years of doing what I do, I've had some good luck, or I've been blessed, however you want to look at it, grateful. I've had a lot of pros that I've built boards for. I had Brad Gerlach, you know, I've made boards for Tom Curran and Tom Carroll. And Matt Archibald, the guys that I looked up to. Yeah. It's fun to watch the really talented kids grow and become better surfers on your board.
Cordell, even though you have a computer blank here, it still truly is an art form.
Yeah, I mean, shaping the rails, the computers don't finish the rails, so you have to manually do that. So that's what I've been doing, and that's what I'm going to do here. You know, I'll show you. It's kind of blending it. You know, it's like a screen, literally like a screen door.
Right.
I'm always constantly working with the computer guy to make it.
The refinements?
Yeah, exactly. Rails are a big thing, you know, and the good shapers put the really good rails on their boards, you know, and they can do it consistently to where they're like even. And when you feel them, when your eyes are shut, it's like, okay, let's feel that. Okay. She's done on the rails.
So what's next?
Next, I just take that stringer down here with my little block plane, and see how high the stringer is, kind of? Right. You know, you don't want it that high, really, so you just kind of... this is called a spoke shape. And it just takes the wood and doesn't hit the foam really. So now I'm going to mark the fins. This board's 6'6", so I'm going to put the fins at 3.5 and 11. Yes, 6 feet 6 inches long.
6'6", that's a big guy short board.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He rides them big, man. This is a tri-fin. Right. So 3.5 inches, 11 inches.
So we're down to the final step. You're ready to sign this thing right now.
I'm signing it, and it's going to the other room, ready for glass.
Ready for glass.
Yep.
Good morning. My name is Chris Pollock. Waves look fun. Cordell Miller built me this new surfboard, and I'm going to get out there and give it its first test drive. For soft as the waves are out there right now, board feels pretty good, pretty loose and pretty fast. That's just how I like them. Yeah, this board feels incredible. I'm stoked.
I'm Ireland.
This is my dad,
This is my dad.
and this is my new surfboard
This is my new surfboard.
that I painted.
I painted.
Yeah, this is the new Happy Jack model. It's the
Okay.
Premier Gras model,
Let's get
and I'm happy the way
out.
that it came out.
Come on, let's go in the pool. It's time to go in the pool.
Okay.
I love my new surfboard.
I'm Surf Junkie Jeff with Shaped in America. Thanks for dropping in.
It's like Ireland, She's excited, huh?
Sika loves Ireland. Okay,
So
turn
they're
it,
going to ask you questions. Okay?
turn it so we can see it a little more.
Cute.
Cute.